just fighting for everything that they can scrap for here up against Team Secret, who is also sitting in the cellar of the league. One of these two walk away with another big win to get them advanced in the standings. Given that we only have we got 5
2 weeks left.
Yeah, 2 weeks. What is after today? We have 3 games, 3 days this week, and then 8 days next week, or 5 days the week after. So we got like 8 days after this week, or after today alone.
Yeah, we've got 8 days left of the regular season, and that's sort of going to be, excluding today, of course, and this is going to be, I mean, it's do or die. Every series matters for MBE in terms of the playoffs thing, which, of course, we're not necessarily expecting that, but it is important one way or another. Artifact waddling, but can Zodiac find the hook? Not actually going to try, just wants to drop that ward. This saves the ward for Nuga, which means if he wants to, after he can get an early shove, should have it in the first few levels. It gets to be online with that EQ a little bit faster than Artifact's wave clears, so can use that to sort of push in the wave, maybe find Kyung a little bit later on, and make sure that Sejuani can't get off to a good start.
All right. I still have a distaste for the Nautilus support, which I'm going to transition into saying that Nautilus Jungle got played recently, and I would like to have that back. So if at some point the VCS would do me the honor of putting Penguin back in this league so that we could have some gremlin junglers, that would be great. Thank you very much.
Who played Nautilus Jungle?
I don't remember who it was. I want to say there was an LPL team that did it, but I could be wrong about that. I just remember somebody played Nautilus Jungle very recently, as that's a hook quickly onto Eddie. Punished for his early game transitions.
Slow's not quite able to land those chompers, so it's just going to be wave pressure, wave control for MBE. I like how they sort of tried to hold the wave a little bit so that there was an angle for that hook instead of the perma-shove for level 2.
Mm-hmm.
But as it is now, just going to be control over this bot side as both junglers make their way down. Could be a cause of concern. In fact, actually finding the push in mid lane though, so...
Yes.
Well, and for the side of Team Secrets,
all right,
respond pretty well.
What is your opinion on this Ryze versus Cassiopeia matchup? Because I've got one, but I want to know what yours is.
I would have thought. I mean, I'm not the most up to date with my Cassiopeia matchups, but I would have thought Ryze has a bit of a chance early to get some shove, perhaps get some roams off, but. Shouldn't be too bad has to get away from Artifact because of course W can cancel a ultimate roam, and of course Artifact can chew through the sort of standard tanky build of the Ryze.
Mm-hmm. I was waiting to see if Kiang was going to make a move into mid lane, but decides not to do so. It was not LPL, my apologies. It was NACL. It was the Challengers League in North America. Rosethorn absolutely went crazy on it. There's a couple others. I think Audi, if you remember Audi from LLA, Audi also played it. So, and both of them won on it. This was not just like a random occurrence of like a single Nautilus jungle that just like ended up getting like gooned. Like there were 2 victories on this champion. It's not the most ridiculous thing in the world. Ridiculous yet, but not the most ridiculous. Which is why we want Penguin back in the lineup, because Penguin played Yasuo jungle. I'm certain that he played Nautilus jungle too.
That was the DNK special, the Nautilus.
Oh, it was DNK. My bad, not Penguin.
The other famous secret jungler.
Yes.
It was not on secret anymore, but
no,
I believe he was at the time. So it's all coming up fine. It's all Gucci. Zodiac still going for that. On that note, though, Zodiac is going for the Q-Max, wants to be able to make more plays, instead of what I'm assuming is making the jungle viable, the E-Max, given how much extra damage was put onto that.
Yes.
In the recent patches.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, someone has to be careful.
A little bit. Still has E, still has Hop. Yeah, there's the E. Able to get decent distance right there. Nice attempt from Kratos with the Ghost to be able to dash in, find a Q, so gonna force out the flash from Sunmer. So it's our first real bout of action in this game, Mobby. Everything else has been relatively slow. Tom Rio actually, I think, makes a great call. They had just gotten it back from their bot lane, so Slows and Zodiac were first on the map, which means that the bottom lane was already looking like a great opportunity for a dragon. So with that gank into the top side, very easy first strike here coming through for Vox Esports.
Yeah, trading Ghost of Flash trade is pretty nice. That should be up much faster, and you can, of course, you still have the flash on the Sejuani, so you can easily make a return gank. Nuki, give him the how you doing, how you doing here, and now I'm gonna try and link up with Zuhao, and if they can maybe find something on the way back, but easily spot out by the Scryer's Bloom, and not much is gonna get done. They just support sort of waving at each other in the river and hovering for the mid lane.
Yeah, that was of I suppose that Zodiac's not soaking experience away from Slows, which is fine. Okay, actually is solid play coming through from Tom Rio using the Q after being tagged by Zuya to pull him into his own jungle, but there's just no follow-up. Skiang was here as well, no movement ability from Nugu. Sunmer has Kratos on the
all-out
ultimate from Kratos. Yeah, gonna put him through the wall. He has the damage. Now Sunmer has to leave. Gets really close. One more boomerang might be the doom of Kratos with that auto attack. But unfortunately, Sunmer is just so low that I don't think Kratos is really that worried about it at the moment. Fleet Footwork's going to keep him up a little bit. Yeah, Kratos is just going to leave and make sure that Sunmer pays respects to the king, as that is going to be an easy way for Cassante to get out of a really bad situation. It looked like Sunmer had him on the ropes, but simply press the ult button. That's enough for that's enough for the death to be threatened.
All that healing coming on now had timed it well with Summer's Rage Bar, so Summer couldn't really get back into it, and Kratos was able to heal himself up pretty. Okay, hold on.
Oh, now bottom side Zodiac getting run down at the beginning of the game, and Eddie gets first blood. Now Slows is probably going to die as well. Actually presses the cleanse, and he's able to just barely flash out of a bad situation. How in the world did they set this up? As once again, Eddie flexing the only champion that he's able to win the laning plays with somehow, which is the Zeri.
Yeah, just waiting until that level 6 mark, and then that instant burst you get from that ultimate, it's enough to catch people off guard, especially someone like Slows and Zodiac, not very tanky. Of course, Zodiac going for, the Glacial Augment doesn't really provide you a lot and lets you get run down pretty quickly. Kratos trying to step up to Sumner again, but this time Tomrio's in the area, so has to be a bit careful. And here we go, just an engage onto Zodiac.
Okay, yeah, so it was a weird little interaction too, because Leona can be stopped in the midst of her E by way of using the Nautilus Q right as the E tags, because the E itself doesn't CC you. It's not until it roots you, but it doesn't stop you from casting abilities. And so what you do to stop it is that you Q in the midst of everything. The problem is Zodiac was standing in a minion, which means that you couldn't use the Q in the way that you needed to stop the Leona engage, and ended up getting stuck there a little bit longer than I think you would have wanted, ended up taking the Q stun afterwards, and all of that led to just further CC that Zodiac was not needing to take because he was standing directly in the middle of a wave, maybe caught trying to auto a minion for a little bit. So nice little interaction, a nice punishment by Zuhao if he knew that was going to happen, because it was great forward vision, which again, of all of the champions in the entire league that Eddie could find early game advantages on, somehow this Zeri, it's just like that is the champion that Eddie is able to win with at the beginning of the game. Earlier on in the split had just an absurd stat line on this champion, so much so that it actually pulls his damage per game up by 200 or something like that, some ridiculous stat in that regard. So Eddie finding some success on one of his favorite champions.
Yeah, also the joys of playing Nautilus into Zeri, no matter what you do, you try and run away with your shield. You just give her a little bit more power to work with because of her other passive. She has many passive, but all in all, yeah, Eddie's just able to pop off repeatedly on this champion. It's almost surprising that we're seeing things like Karma and Caitlyn and Varus as the ban choices over Zeri, because it feels like this is the one he can play safely on. He doesn't need to actually flex his ability in lane. He sort of knows the angles on it and can find advantages, but he doesn't need to. He can perform well late. They're trying to bait this in, but Eddie is just staying at arm's length, using that extendo beam to just farm from distance. And okay, maybe they're trying.
Ooh, What a pull. And that's an ultimate combo coming through. Now Tamrio not quite fast enough to pull the trigger. I feel like if you're Tamrio, you just charge Q, flash ultimate, and you make sure that Eddie dies right there. I know it does buy them a plate. They didn't lose anything. Tamrio's still going to be here for the coverage. Zhu Hao is just going to hang around for a quick second, but Eddie cannot stay. Should buy maybe another full plate as well for slows, equalizing those turret plates on the bottom side of the map. No, they're actually going to use it just to go to Dragon, which I think... All right, that's perfectly fine. They're going to grab up their second neutral objective of the game here for Box Esports. Going to be able to set up for this soul point. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what they just did. I would kind of would have wished that they would have gone for the extra plate onto the Jinx, but you know what? I think that's perfectly fine. I think the Dragon is going to give them a lot of late game agency that they didn't have before.
Yeah, and if you think back to their win against Cerberus, it was Dragon control, especially in the first game, which really set them above what Cerberus wanted to do. They were misstepping a little bit, of course, were the dogs, but MBE having that extra tempo, having that extra pressure, let them have a bit more freedom in that sort of mid game, late game, where they could afford a bit of a slip up and just give over one thing, and that should be safe from Kyung.
Okay, interesting. Well. Yeah, Kyung is just going after the opposing support in their own jungle. There's no camps here either, Kyung. So, like, Kyung is just here to set up for some pushing power for Eddie on the bottom side of the map. They've got a forward ward, they've got Zhu Hao, they've got Artifact. Yeah, they're just trying to collapse on this tower, which makes all too much sense here. Very, very simple. Kyung also has the Rift Herald readily available. Tamrio's going to head up this way, too. I wouldn't be shocked to see they do just dump the Rift Herald, as it's going to be first blood on the tower. With Eddie picking up this gold, with Kyung picking up this gold, split between the two of them. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And it's Team Secret who understands like how to set up their bot laner here, which I think is the right play. Again, they're dumping gold into Eddie, whereas Box Esports, they went for that Dragon instead of trying to put additional gold into this Jinx. That was just Slows being an annoying little pest right there as the ultimate gets dropped. Maybe trying to set up for a fight of some kind because Nugu has ultimate, but not enough mana afterwards, I think, to take anything crazy. So Box Esports, again, these are some of the macro plays, some of the macro woes we were talking about now. Slow's probably going to die. Here comes Zodiac, though. Nice hook. Okay. Yeah, no. Eddie's going to lose, or Eddie's going to win the 1v1. My apologies. I wasn't trying to say lose, just trying to say win the 1v1. Now Zhu Hao is going to lock up Zodiac most likely before Eddie can come back. Tamrio is around. Could just go down onto the one, but Artifact's going to be here alongside Nugu. Kyung is here as well, so it's a 4v3 right here, right now. Ultimate to slow down Zodiac, has to flash over the wall. Tamrio as well goes over the wall with a Q, as that's Box Esports yet again getting punished on a macro scale. That is a huge win. Bottom lane gets absolutely destroyed, and then Slows works way too far up, ends up getting run down by just a 1v1 in the ADC versus ADC matchup.
Yeah, just a little Eddie just coming out on advantages, and even now Crosses has started to turn the top side around. He's tanky enough to walk up and actually get those demolish procs, and someone's gonna try and run him down with Hyper, but this is just an interesting choice from Slows. They sort of predicted it was gonna happen, but the dash over the wall and the engage range from Zodiac, Zhu Hao rather, being able to actually influence that fight a little bit before Zodiac could. It turns out for the side of Slows, and also Shield Bow is just actually really strong. You don't do as much damage, but it's more than makes up for it with that passive. So Slows just caught out, Slows just run down. And Team Secret starting to win across the entire map. 1,400 gold in plates alone. They've gotten a few kills on top of that, and MBE they're definitely reading what Team Secret are wanting to do, but then they're just walking into it and giving them everything anyway. Like in that play down bot with the Rift Herald, they backed off. They were aware Kyung and Artifact were making their way over. Then they brought Tamrio and Nugu to just faff about in jungle and not actually achieve anything instead of maybe trying to push for some plates in mid. Zodiac's going to run into Zhu Hao, but shouldn't amount to anything. Oh,
coverage from Sunmer here, as the Meganar is going to wear off soon enough. Backed. Actually, interesting. Okay, and that is going to lead to an ultimate immediately onto Zodiac, who's going to be able to hook out of there. But again, Team Secret are just bullying them around the map as Box Esports has had no response. Eddie's literally just walking up the towers. They're putting 2 people on top of him, and they're saying, okay, you can either team fight us right now, or we can just take the tower, get more gold over to our ADC, allow Eddie to continue to be this early game monster for some reason on the Zeri pick, because that's going to be the second full tower after first tower, first blood, second kill of the game, and now another tower as well as all the plates that were taken up. I mean, it's going to be like 2 items Zeri at 15 minutes into this game the next time that Eddie decides to back.
Yeah, and Tomahawk just hasn't been able to find anything really at all. He hasn't even tried anything. That's the saddest part. I don't mind as much if he attempted something and then flubbed it, but he sort of hovered around topside once. He hovered around in response to Kyung and then sat too far back to actually get involved. He's been able to pick up some of these dragons, but I feel at this point they're not going to be able to contest this third one since they're 4k down. And as we move further and further along, Kratos and Kyung, this Kasante and Sejuani, they're going to love quad stack Mountain Drake. That's for sure. Zuhao as well. Yeah, there's just good luck, Slows. Good luck.
Yeah, I mean, trying to fight into 2 of the best consistent damage carries in the entire game with Mountain Soul, especially Quadrastack Mountain Soul, like you were attesting to, is an absurd concept here. Think about that. Think about a Zeri with basically like 30%, 40% extra damage reduction that just shouldn't exist alongside the shield. But think about Cassiopeia sitting with 4,000 health and also having like 120, 130 armor magic resist without building any extra. Like it's a little absurd to think about what this team is going to be able to do. And so Box has to figure out what their strategy is because they're still a ways out from anything doing. Slows had a Kerchish shard just a few minutes ago.
Which he sold for a Zeal.
He sold it? I wasn't sure if maybe he had returned it and I was just on that pack right now because it's too early in the morning, but I was hoping that was the case because it would be weird to buy that and then sell it immediately for the Zeal.
I assume it was because I'm fairly sure I saw him out. I sold the Kerchish shard, but I'm fairly sure I saw him out of base with it.
I thought so too.
It had to go somewhere, and it doesn't go into a Zeal. I think he's kind of found himself autopiloting into the rapid fire cannon before realizing, actually, maybe I kind of need to go for something a little bit earlier. Maybe I need the Phantom Dancer. Maybe I just sit on a Zeal and build an actual item that does damage. I don't know.
The reason I bring this up is because Slows is already down so much, so losing, even if it's only like 100, 150, 200 gold or something for the Kerchish Shard's return, or the selling of the Kerchish Shard, it's still so much that it's just like, that's more gold you're effectively giving to Eddie. That's gold advantage that Eddie is getting for absolutely no reason other than you messing up the build path that you want to go for here, which was wrong in general. Like, Rapid Fire Cannon does nothing. Phantom Dancer and Runance both have a lot of value in this game. But Rapid Fire Cannon is, I can hit somebody one time from further range with a big rocket, sure, but then afterwards you don't do much. That is an immediate play on Eddie, is they find a really good combination, but also Kiang slams the door, and Sunmer puts one into the wall. That's going to be an ultimate onto the Minion, who's just going to go down. Actually, he flashes out, but that is going to be Xante alongside Eddie going in. Zodiac now also going to get run down on the front line, as it's 5 members of Secret showing up to the party. Rift Herald number 2. Shirley's going to be able to crack this tower. They don't even need it to crack this tower. They're going to be going for the second one up mid lane. And what are you supposed to do right here? They just don't have the damage to be able to fight this team. Nugo and Slow's trying to clear the way to the best of their abilities, but have not been able to do so. Finally, 66% of this tower gone completely in just a swift strike. Team Secret nearly do enough damage for Box Esports to be reeling in kind. Oh, Tom Rio, he fancies himself another fight. I don't know that I would have taken this against Kratos on his own, let alone that Zuhao is here, but all right, yeah, good job, Tom Rio. We finally pulled off a little bit.
All right, Kratos can't actually find an angle there, but they go in onto Eddie. It doesn't really work out because the collapse is good, and Eddie's still able to contribute pretty effectively with all these lasers, and Sunma tries to exist as Mega Gnar, gets a pretty mediocre ult, and then transforms back into the kill me mode. Zodiac tries to bail him out and hooks Kratos in, and that's just handing the Nautilus over on a silver platter, so that's 2 more kills. It's only 4 kills, but it's a 5,000 gold lead. It's pretty damn one-sided for the side of Team Secret, and Oh, I guess the hype is immediately quashed from NBA. We were hoping they could this was the sign of something, sign of a rise, but someone's gonna hop away. And now Team Secret just gets to control this jungle. They can go onto Baron pretty much at any time. They have extremely good Baron damage if they bring Zeri and Artifact down into it, Cassiopeia. But do you want to start it up? Apparently yes. Apparently just yes, you do. They're gonna try and maybe 2-man it, 3-man it.
They can, I think, pretty easily 2-man. Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. They know what's happening, but they can't push up. They just can't get close.
Yeah, I think Team Secret just gave a really big question. Oh, actually, Zuhao goes over the wall. Kang also over the wall. They're going to find Slows. Slows just going to die. Now you've got one damage dealer. That's going to be Nugu, who does find one kill. Actually, TP into the back. Could lead to quite a bit. There's a counter TP on the other side of the map. Like you said, Sunmurray is going to be able to get something. Nugu as well. Big ultimate's going to get him out, too. Okay, it's a 2-for-2. Not the greatest exchange in the entire universe, but honestly, Slows and Zodiac have been struggling most of the games. You're fine dumping those two in exchange for 2 kills onto Nugu as maybe finally getting a win condition established somewhere on the board. Yes, Team Secret's going to get Baron. Yes, Team Secret's going to crack mid tower. Yes, Team Secret's probably going to get every outer tower after all things are said and done. But, I mean, we're not without recompense here for Box Esports. They are able to grab up this third dragon of theirs, deny Mountain Soul, or deny another Mountain Drake over to the side of Team Secret, deny them stacking Mountain Soul unless Kang just comes in for a massive steal. Should not happen. Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay. And we're out.
And now we're out. There's a teleport from an Artifact, but he's without a Baron, so that's going to be all okay. And the tank's just eating up so much pressure while the carries from Team Secret go and assassinate Slows. This is a bit of an overstep because it's a good teleport from Summoner with perfect Naba. It's a bit unlucky where Kyung was, who just gets knocked to freedom, not quite clipping onto that wall. But with that, it's not like they probably didn't have the ability to knock him down anyway, given he's still pretty healthy and they were not. So they just realm warp out. And yeah, that was a 4v5 pretty much because Cassante was not there. And they don't care about having missing Barons on 2 people because they just group everybody up, push down the bot lane tower. Kratos prepares a wave earlier and they can turn him to the mid lane.
Yeah, now, that's a big engagement potentially coming through Kang. Actually, I think that was a superior Sejuani ultimate to anything else because it slowed down 3 members. It was enough to keep them pushed back from the towers. They're able to crack down mid tower, and bottom inhibitor is gone. Mid inhibitor tower, that is. He's also gone now. I was hoping to see maybe something a little bit more electric. Sunmer's Narbar does kind of push them off, though. As they still have to be terrified, Nugu is still very powerful. If you can't jump onto him, you have to be at least a little bit cautious. Tamrio continues to be on these edges, but just has never been able to find a perfect angle to be able to go. And what a play from Artifact! Finds 3 kills! And just like that, the game is over. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. Okay, wait a minute. Slows does get excited here for a second. Auto attack goes, but Eddie is Eddie. Come on, he's on his #1 champion. Ultimate from Tamrio is going to be able to kick Eddie out. Not quite going to go down to the tower as Kratos' ultimate is going to give him enough damage to be able to bring down Tamrio. Now Summer, the only one remaining on the map. I do not think Sunmer is going to be able to hold right here. He does have 3 minion waves. Maybe they can stop them from taking the Nexus Tower. Honestly, if I were Team Secret, I would be trying to finish the game right here, right now against Sunmer. Everybody's low. They do have to be quite a bit more cautious. There's the ultimate. Artifact is not even going to get knocked down a quarter of his health bar. As they're going to have to leave now. I mean, okay, they do get 1 Nexus Tower. They get both bot and mid inhibitors. You're up 10,000 gold. Team Secret's not going to lose this game at this point.
I saw the insta-quadra angle from Summer, but he doesn't flash aggressively for it to get the 4-man knock into the Nexus. He just knocks a couple, clears the wave, and overall that's probably the smarter play. It saves the game for now. It is 1 Nexus Tower remaining, and Team Secret are going to back right now and spend a lot of gold. That is now a very tanky Kyung on 2 items, a very tanky Artifact with 3 health items and a Oblivion Orb on top of that. This is just really nice setup. We don't get to see the Artifact engage, but
that's literally the whole play.
It's really good.
It was so good. I don't know how Artifact found 4 people staring right at him out of nowhere, but somehow and in some way, Artifact makes the MVP engage go on. Because again, to me, that cripples the game. The game is dead now. Like, there's no way Vox Esports is going to come back in any capacity now. It's off the back of Artifact's amazing, like good damage and amazing everything else. There's 3 tanks on this team. There's 2 damage dealers, and Artifact and Eddie are outdealing every single member on Vox combined. Like, you've got a Gnar top lane, you've got a Vi in the jungle, you've got Ryze, you've got Jinx. All 4 combined are not dealing the damage that Eddie and Artifact are in the game like this, which is just insane to think about.
Yeah, and we're coming up to the point. I'm just like, okay, they're gonna try and kill Kratos. Can they kill Kratos?
No shot. Ult?
No.
Anything? No? Kratos is gonna get
though.
locked up? Okay.
The hyper is enough. But even that said, it's 1 minute till the next dragon. That might give you a little glimmer of hope for NBA, but even it's just not gonna happen. Not against Eddie. Eddie's going for his last whisper now, so the extra resistances aren't going to matter. He gets the shields you have go to him. He gets free shields off you. So, yeah, it's kind of... It might actually work against your favor to pick up the Drake and get that soul in some ways, but it's kind of all you've got left to hope for. And just pick that up. Maybe try and blow up Eddie, and then hope the resistances carry you through against Artifact. Because, I mean, you don't have to worry too much about the tanks. They're just going to be nuisances. They're not. Kratos could kill you because you're not the tankiest lineup, but he has to go all out for that, and I don't think he can cut through everyone. So, but it doesn't matter. They can't approach the dragon at all. That's going to be easy for Team Secret, and the tanks are going to get even tankier.
Team Secret says, nuts to the dragon. We're just going to go right to the Baron, which actually I appreciate Vox Esports because they made this call. I was gonna postulate this. I was like, hey, just go for Baron and try to save the game if they go for dragon. But Team Secret is able to get here in time to be able to deny that type of play from going down. And honestly, if I were Vox, I would try to keep them up in this topside jungle, maybe throw one person down at the dragon to contest it. Because the soul is going to be so much more valuable than a Baron is going to be. You're going to lose the Baron too fast here if you don't have somebody on the dragon right now, though. Like, I would be looking for wards to teleport to if I were Summer, just to challenge against the Cassiopeia to try to steal this dragon away. If I were Tom Rio, I would be beelining there. There's no way you stop Baron, but they're losing both at the moment.
Yeah, you have the smite on Tom Rio. Tom Rio just go down there, try and make sure that Artifact can't take it, because because at the risk of the smite, but just don't. You try and find some gold through some jungle camps, and maybe if you get that second Black Cleaver, you can help do enough. You're gonna do enough to counteract that.
No,
like
no,
four slows.
No,
you're not. Realistically, no, but you can.
Not even realistically, no. That was to me, Tom Rio just completely
he doesn't even finish it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Tom Rio has not even been he hasn't been really an active part of this game, and that to me was exemplary of exactly what we're talking about. Eddie gets flashed on by both members who have the point-and-click ultimate, has to go into stopwatch just to make sure nothing else happens. But now Eddie just gets to do as he pleases because there is no additional follow-up damage whatsoever. Gets to slide into the midst of everything, flashes to get on top of Sunmer and Nugu. Actually, Eddie jumping directly on top of Nugu is going to get eaten alive because of the disrespect given towards the Ryze, who nearly has Rabadon's completed. But damage has been done. Artifact is still alive. Nugu does not have the health for it. Oh, and Nugu steps on top of the W. That's the miasma that's going to deny Nugu any access to the base. And now the game is dead completely. There's nothing else to be said. I thought that was going to be the case as soon as Eddie picked up 3 kills right there, but now it is certainly going to be the case as mid inhibitor is down. They've got their 1 damage dealer. They've got 3 frontline tanks. They're just going to be looking to close up this tower, looking to close up the game. Here comes Zodiac. Q's in, finds Kratos. Yes, you've got Tom Rio back. Okay, a lot more fight back than I thought was going to happen yet again as they're going to go in on top of everything else. Artifact needs to be able to step up to find damage. Gets Q'd in, and that's an ultimate coming out from Sunmer to pull them back into the base. And Fox lives to fight another day again. Goodness gracious, they're holding, and 3 kills to slows in the midst of all of that as well. Mobby, Box is not letting go. They said we have playoffs still on the line. We're not giving up.
Yep, they buy themselves a lot more gold, but it is an exposed Nexus now. Team Secret could realistically just ball up mid lane and try again and just hit the Nexus this time. No, it's gonna be a little bit harder. It's a nice. It was a nice play coming out from Sunmer, and Slow is able to get the resets going. And Team Secret just not playing with enough respect, and there is a lot of damage on Jinx. She's hit her 3-item power spike. She can cut through the front line, and once she did, she got the reset. And arguably the only reason it sort of wasn't as devastating was she peeled off early to try her best. As this is a huge whiff from Zodiac and Tamrio. They commit everything onto Eddie, but they commit it all at the same time, so the CC gets stacked incorrectly, and she's just fine. She's able to pop her stopwatch. She goes a little bit ham here, and doesn't respect Nugu with the with his own lifeline ability. But that pretty much signals that the game doesn't end there and there, but okay.
Ultimate right there. Okay, actually a couple of ultimates utilized, and Sunmer not going to go down as a result of it. They still have to be careful of Artifact's ultimate, which was what their downfall was at the beginning. Now working front to back, that's going to be an engagement. Tomrio is going to find an ultimate going in. Damage on the backside. It just hasn't been enough. Kratos on the front line trying to bring down slows. And yeah, Box kept themselves alive far too long in this game, and finally they're going to be put down the way that Team Secret has been trying to do for the first couple of minutes, as Box Esports now one game away from just losing out on their chances at getting into playoffs. And Team Secret played pretty well in that one. I have to give a lot of respect again